Thanks, Dan. Good morning, Mikel.
Good morning.
What a difference a few weeks makes. How's the squad? How are you? Just 3 weeks, what a total contrast.
Yeah, it's great to win the last 3 games. Obviously, the spirits, the energy around the place, and the vibe is always better. I feel better myself. And on this Christmas period, to win 3 games in a row is never easy in this league. And we've done it, and now hopefully we can pick a much better run.
FA Cup tomorrow, you're the holders. Do you look back on that day in August with fond memories of winning it in your first season?
Well, it was a beautiful day. It's the last game of the season. Everybody take off after that. It was a really difficult end of the year with all the COVID situation that we have in place, and obviously it was a great day to finish the season in a high.
Do you often amazed at how Arsene Wenger managed to win it 7 times? It's such a, are you going to go after this competition again because it's yours?
Absolutely. We're going to go after every competition, and we are the holders. We have to defend that title. We know how it means for the football club and the history that is related to the FA Cup. So it's a great competition to play for us.
Can I ask you about Mesut Ozil? What's his future? What's going to happen this month with him? Will he be leaving?
I don't know what it's going to happen. Obviously now he's free to negotiate with other clubs. We will discuss internally what's the best situation for him for the near future, and obviously with the player and the agent, and try to find the best solution for everybody.
If you was in his shoes, would you want to play every last game you can? You just got to keep playing?
I think every player wants to play football. This is what we picked this profession, and we are so lucky to be doing what we do. And for every player that is not playing, it's always hard.
He could still stay, possibly?
I'm saying we will decide what's happening in the next few days.
Okay, thank you. Good luck in the Cup.
Thank you.
Thanks, George. Ian from TalkSport.
Hi, Mikel. How are you?
Hi, I'm good, thank you.
Can I ask you, obviously, this game against Newcastle, there's no doubts about the game, thankfully. You've had a few problems with COVID, but they all seem to be at the moment behind you. But how much of a concern is it going forward? I mean, we're seeing more and more 40 positive tests in the Premier League this week. How much of a concern more and more is it going forward week by week in the Premier League for clubs?
Well, it is worrying because we see every day what is happening in the country, and the level of infections and deaths is increasing, and you can sense not the panic but the worrying around everybody. We are suffering for all the people that is involved in different and difficult circumstances at the moment, and we cannot isolate from that. What we try to do is try to maintain the infections as low as possible, follow all the protocols, and the doctors are doing an incredible job to try to maintain a safe environment for us. And we have to try to keep insisting, not just to our players, but all the staff and everybody involved around the place, to be very conscious of how difficult is the situation that we are in, and how lucky we are to still do what we do.
Are your players and the staff around the club, all the staff, are they anxious? Are they worried? Because while the protocols mean that it's safe at Colney, the minute they leave, anything can happen.
Yeah, they are worried, but they know that in this environment they are really well protected. But obviously, this virus is touching everybody in a personal level. You always have a relative, a parent, somebody, a friend that has been hit with the virus in many different ways. So we are now very educated about it, and we all had a history related to it, and then becomes more worrying, of course.
You're playing Newcastle in the 3rd round this weekend. If you get through, we then have the draw for the 4th round and the 5th round, which is a bit weird. I mean, normally you just have the 4th round draw, play that game, then have the draw for the 5th round. Do you think that we need to try and maintain the magic and the prestigious competition, and maybe just let's have 1 round draw at a time?
Yeah, well, it seems like every year we're changing some rules in every competition, in every cup. Something has to be different. I don't know what it is. I think we are doing something good as well in the country, is that every cup is becoming more and more important. You see, for example, the Carabao Cup, the teams that were involved in semi-finals and the finals comparing to the last 10 years, and it's improved because everybody wants to win a trophy. Everybody knows how difficult it is to win a trophy, so you have to stick to every competition, and that is raising the level certainly. But as you mentioned, yeah, we can do things a little bit simpler sometimes.
My last one is kind of linked to a question I always ask you about Mesut Ozil, but I'm not. It's more about others. Have the emergence of Emile Smith-Rowe and other players, young players like Bukayo Saka, for example, and Joe Willock, have they meant now that if we're even thinking about keeping Mesut Ozil after this transfer window, you don't need to anymore because these young players have in a way, solved the problem you had?
We need every player that is involved in our squad, and the fact that the youngsters are involved in the squad means that they have the level to compete with any player in that squad. And the young players, they have moments through the season. You know, it's really difficult for them to be constantly at their level for 10 months. But sometimes players develop, players have moments, and you have to take those moments. And if that means that they're pushing somebody else, I think it's a really healthy competition for the team. And the team all the time gets better when situations like that happen. So I think it's a really positive news.
Good luck against Newcastle this weekend, Mikel.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ian. We'll now move to Ian Bolton from Sky.
Mikel, hello, how are you?
Hello.
Look, there was a lot of excitement in the Turkish media yesterday over Mesut possibly joining Fenerbahce. I know you said you're going to discuss it internally, but do you think it would be good for the club, good for him, if something was sorted this month?
If something is sorted this month, it's because it's good for both parties, because it's good for Mesut and his future, and because it's good for the club. If that's the case, we will move forward. If it's not the case, then the player will continue here.
Tell me, is he training with you? There were some pictures, I think, was it yesterday or the day before, and no one could see him training with you. Is it what's going on? What's he doing at the moment?
He's been training with us, but he had some days because we decided to give him some days for something personal, and that's the case. But he's been training with us all the time.
I mean, are you aware of him talking to other clubs? Because obviously he can do from January the 1st.
We are aware of all the conversation that we had with Mesut internally and with his agent, and this communication keeps going. And of course, because from now on he's free to talk to any club, so he's entitled to do that as well.
Tell us about Omar Rekik at Hertha Berlin. There are reports that he's passed a medical to join Arsenal and that he is training with you. What's the situation?
We will announce it when we possibly can. He's a young talent that we've been following for a while, that we believe has a really bright future, but we will give more details when we can, Ian.
Okay, are you expecting something very soon on that front then?
Yes.
Possibly today?
I don't know, very soon.
Right, look, I noticed that Thomas Partey is back in full training with you. Suggestion that he might be able to play a part this weekend. What would that mean to you? And how do you rate his chances of playing against Newcastle?
Well, we've got an extra 2 training sessions, and we will assess after that whether he's completely full. Ready to start or participate against Newcastle, or if we're going to leave it another few days for the Palace game. But he's been training really good. He's comfortable. He's not aware of the injury right now. He's done more than what he already did before he played after the injury against the Spurs. So he's in a good place. He's in a good mood, and you can see the player he is when he's training.
Okay, listen, finally from me, I noticed that, William Saliba went on loan. He's gone to Nice, made his debut for them last night against Brest, they were beaten 2-0, weren't they? But how important is it for him now to be getting games?
Yes. Well, we signed a big project that we have some issues with because he hasn't played enough football in the last 18 months. And at that age and in the development phase that he's at, that is crucial. And I was always very conscious when he came back, when he didn't do the step that he had to do before joining us, that to start a relationship with a new manager, with a new club, new teammates, where he's not having any game time is really difficult, and I think is damaging for the future. And I want to protect the player that we signed and the future that we have alongside him. And the best way to do that is to give him minutes and play. And it's been really good. It's been difficult months for him to cope with that situation, but I see the development that he's made, the progression that he's shown over the months, and now he's ready to compete. He's going into a really strong league as well, a league that he knows really well. He has experience, and he needs to play as many games as possible to be ready for us for next season.
Thank you, Mikel.
Thank you.
Wish you well.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ian. We'll move to Mark Manbryans from PA.
Morning, Mikel. You mentioned Willian and potentially playing for you next season. Does that mean he will come back in the summer no matter what? There won't be an extension to that loan?
He will come back for pre-season and he will be with us. Hopefully he will come back after playing a number of games, and his performance is raising and his development progressing in the right way, and that's why we made that decision. I know that sometimes it's difficult to explain or understand after the money that the club has spent trying to bring in him, to send him on loan, but a lot of things had happened to him. He's a long-term player for us, and we need to protect him as well, and giving him 3 or 4 games is not enough for him. He needs much more than that, because what happened in the last 18 months, he's been through some personal problems as well, that we have to try to help him and stay as close as possible to him. And now he needs to play and enjoy his profession as well. And in order to do that, I think we found the right club with him. He's very happy to go there right now, and hopefully he can enjoy his football and be ready for us for next season.
In terms of team selection for the weekend, Mesut's actually available because obviously in previous competitions he's not been registered. Would we expect him to be involved at all on Saturday?
We will decide what we do.
Just with Mesut, it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because obviously you've got so much attention about a player that's not playing, and you just need to almost, the decision has to be made one way or another really soon, doesn't it? Just what's going to happen with him.
Yeah, decisions have to be made when you have to register or not register players, when you have to play them or not play them all the time. We know that we have a really important player that is one of the key players in the past few seasons for this football club. We have to make a decision. I have to make a decision. I made it. I knew the consequences of it, and now we're gonna have to make another one in January, and we will just put in the balance what is the best thing for the club and the best thing for the team, and what the intentions of the players are, and try to find the right solution to that.
You know, Ian mentioned to you about the rising COVID cases that we've seen across the country and things like that, and the rising Premier League issues as well. Have we got a problem now with the number of players that seem to be breaking protocols and things like that? And should there be a firmer punishment for players that do breach the bubbles and bring it into training ground?
Yeah, I think we have to be very aware of that, and we have to be very strict. I think players, like any public person, has to be more aware than anybody else. There are a lot of people that don't respect the rules. They are out there, they don't get noticed, they can get away with that. We are luckier than anybody else because we are still being around the place. We can still do our job and continue with our professions, and we have to bear in mind that everything that we do has other consequences than other people acts doesn't, and at the moment we cannot deliver it down. You know, we taking some risk to continue playing. We're trying to do the right things. You know, people are sacrificing their lives to help the society in this moment, and what we have to do is just contribute, and don't give any more issues, neither to the public, neither to the government, to make a decision that we don't want. That's for sure.
Have you made that clear, talking to your players?
Yeah.
You told them?
Absolutely, and the dog is very aware, and we all the time trying to push. We are getting educated now with new rules, new protocols. Around the place we have a lot of people, and sometimes you can make a mistake, you know, but there are certain things that we cannot allow to happen as well.
Great, thanks, Mikel.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mark. Nick Callow from Haters.
Good morning, Mikel.
Hello.
Hi there. Just wondering, when you say you need every player available, does that mean you will block possible loan deals for players such as Joe Willock and Reece Nelson because you want them around in the squad?
Well, once we have the players in the squad, we need everybody available, because then we have a larger options to choose. When we have to decide, is this player going to have enough game time? Is it better to keep him here or send him on loan? Then it's a different discussion. But we need these players available to be able as well to go on loan. We have already made some decisions. As you could see, there are some players that have left the club in different ways, and the squad was too large, you know, and it's really difficult to handle that situation even in training. So that was one of the priorities in this window, and I think slowly we are doing that.
Is it still too large then? Still need changes?
Yes.
Okay, and just another player, is Flo Balogun fit and available for Saturday?
He is fit and available. Again, his progression and the use of the time that he's had with us has been incredible good, and he will keep having chances while he's with us.
And is there any movement on his contract situation? Because he says he's going to have a big year. Do you think that will be at Arsenal?
Well, you need three parties to make a deal. For sure, the club wants to make a deal, the manager wants to make a deal, the player wants to stay, and I'm not sure about the agent.
Okay. Is there room for him to come through at Arsenal in terms of all the attacking players you've got?
Yes.
And just to pick you up on that, you're saying his agent is the one who's stopping this contract?
No, I'm not saying it's stopping. It's that we need to find an agreement with him. We are negotiating at the end with an agent, with a player that wants to stay at the club, and we need to find the agreement. I'm telling you that we are doing everything we can to keep him here. And hopefully from the other part, they are doing the same, and they're defending the same interest, which is the players' interest, which is to stay at the football club and be successful with us.
Okay, interesting stuff. Thanks a lot. Cheers. Good luck, Mikel.
Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. Art de Roche from The Athletic.
Hi, Mikel. I just wanted to touch on something you spoke about a few months ago, actually, where you said it stresses you out more when teams go long from goal kicks rather than playing it short. But more recently, Bernd Leno has been going long with those goal kicks, and I just wanted to know if that was a conscious decision from you and Inaki Cannon, why there was a change in that approach.
Because we have to adapt in certain moments, depending where the team is, in terms of confidence and the risk that we can take and the rewards that we're going to have from it. And it's part of the game plan, depending on the opponents as well, how they approach this particular phase of play, and in relation to that we can decide one thing or the other.
With the results getting much better over the past few weeks, does that mean there may be another change to that more to that approach we became used to in the summer, where Bernd was playing with his feet a bit more?
We can vary. I think Ben has been playing with the feet on that particular setup, with a close situation when it's more predictable and more setup. We need to have in certain moments a little bit more to do what we want to do, but in open play, when we use the keeper in that phase, we haven't changed one bit. But again, it's something about the capacity to adapt, and then something that are related to the game plan on the day.